If you've been trading long enough, I'm sure you've heard the phrase 9 out of 10 traders lose money. But have you ever wondered why? Well, options trading comes with risks, yes. But did you know that there's tools and probability metrics that can help investors tilt the odds in their favor? These tools and metrics help investors get better chances of winning trades. Of course, you'll also see and hear of countless stories online about people making FOMO trades, or as they say, try to catch a falling knife. Is it just human psychology, lack of experience, or maybe a combination of both? Well, the reasons, they run far deeper than that. And if you want to have any success at options trading, you're going to need to know these reasons, how to recognize them, when they start affecting your own trades, and what to do to mitigate the damage. That's why in this video, I'm going to cover why 90% of options traders lose money and how to avoid becoming another statistic. Now, let's start with the basics. And when I say basic, I mean the very basic. Why do people even trade options or stocks or futures or any other financial instrument for that matter? Well, this answer is simple. Easy money, right? Why work a 9 to 5 that pays you 20 bucks an hour when you can make 1,000 times that in just a few short minutes or hours of trading? And there's no shortage of these success stories online from social media gurus, financial influencers, and even on Reddit. They post screenshots of thousands and sometimes millions in profit, and you think, hey, if they can do it, so can I. So then you start exploring the different instruments and their derivatives that are on offer. Options, in general, offer leverage, a chance to increase exposure and therefore profit without necessarily increasing your initial capital requirements. Think of it as trading stocks at rocket ship speed. So it's not surprising that many of us jump into options trading not realizing that it goes far beyond what you just saw on a YouTube short or on a TikTok video. And this is where the first, most common cause of options trading losses come in, the knowledge gap. Now, most of us would be familiar, of course, with the common definition of an option. It's a contract that gives the buyer the right, but not the obligation to either buy or sell something at a specified strike price on or before a specified expiration date. Sounds simple, right? But then this definition doesn't cover what's a premium, what happens if you get assigned, what volatility or time decay is, or how certain news affects options pricing, or what strategies are available to you. All of these and more can either make or break your trades. Here's a quick but very realistic example. Let's say you're new to options trading and you see that option prices on Palantir are high on October 30th. You decide to sell a naked call. And you at least know that as long as Palantir stock doesn't trade above your strike price, you keep the premium. So with the stock trading at around $194, you decide to sell a $197.50 strike Palantir naked call that expires in 8 days, thinking that the short days to expiration is going to work in your favor. Even better, it has a 64% chance of expiring profitably. But what you fail to realize is that Palantir is releasing its third quarter financials in just a few days, well before this contract expires. And that's why premiums are high. And then, on the next trading day, October 31st, you see Palantir stock shoot up to 200 bucks. The next trading day, it goes as high as 207. Imagine that. You just bet that Palantir won't reach $197 before November 8th. And 2 trading days later, it's up by $10 more. And then you check the headlines. You realize that their third quarter financials were just released, and you read the details for yourself. 77% growth in US revenue, 63% growth overall, record-setting total contract values, and margins of 40%. By any measure, these are excellent results. So what do? You panic. You buy to close your call option at a higher price and take a big loss to avoid a potentially even bigger one. But here's the thing, volatility, it's a double-edged sword. Sure enough, Palantir shares plummeted following the release. And now you just got an expensive lesson. The great thing is, the fix to having a lack of knowledge, well, it's simple. You just need to learn everything you can about options trading, like watching videos like this one and subscribing to this channel. And for those of you who are saying, Rick, that'll take forever. Well, I did say simple, not fast, because the truth is options trading is just like any other skill, and it rewards you or it rewards those who are willing to make the time to learn the ins and outs. Barchart also has several comprehensive guides on options trading, including metrics, Greeks, and individual strategies. We've also got a bunch of videos that cover many topics related to options trading, so take the time to learn it because it can save you thousands of dollars on your bottom line. Now, for the Palantir example that I provided earlier, the specific fix is knowing how an upcoming earnings call can affect the price of a particular stock. On Barchart, you can easily check how much Palantir moved on average whenever they released their financials. It also shows the expected range based on options prices. And both are pointing to a significant move during this period. And all this information can be found on the expected moves page or through any option screener page by clicking on the new profit and loss chart tool and then the expected move tab. Now, they're not 100% accurate predictors. They're based on historical averages and volatility after all, but it does give you quantitative and actionable metrics. And if you're armed with that information, you can then adjust your strike price, choose a later expiration, or even just skip the trade entirely. Because when it comes to trading, what you don't know can and usually will cost you money. Of course, knowing the topic in and out is not the only requirement. Otherwise, there wouldn't be an endless amount of traders with years or even decades of experience posting about their losses. And why is it that they lose money? Well, because they let their emotions get the best of them. Now, let's be fair. It's not easy to get a handle on your feelings when there could be potentially thousands of dollars on the line. Maybe you got a vacation coming up and this winning trade would pay for it. Or maybe you want to retire early and you need every trade to work out in your favor. The point is, the allure of money is still there. But in order to succeed in trading, it's also important to keep your emotions in check. You need to develop the right mindset and discipline along with your knowledge. And to me, that means trading within a predefined plan with specific entry and exit strategies. Here's a quick example. Let's say XYZ stock just shot up 20% in a day. The next day, you buy an out-of-the-money long call on the stock that expires in 30 days, thinking that this is your big ticket to win. But there wasn't really any substance to that upward move. A couple days later, XYZ stock dropped from a massive profit-taking, and your call goes deeper out of the money. Now you're looking at a 30% loss. At this point, many disciplined traders would just sell their position and take the loss if it fits within their exit plan. But say you entered this trade based on FOMO or fear of missing out, and you didn't have time to formulate a trading plan. Maybe you read up on what others have to say, and they're all telling you to double down. So you do. Then your trade goes down another 10, 20, or 30%, and you're left with two long calls with almost no value and a handful of days away from expiration. And this isn't some random anecdote that I pulled out of thin air. Investors chase trends all the time, only to double down when they should have just cut their losses and run. And I'm sure you know at least of a few examples of this. So how do we fix it? How do we increase our chances of getting winning trades? Well, psychology and discipline are what separates the good traders from hopeful gamblers. And it's not just about setting entry and exit points. Anyone can do that. It's about sticking to the plan. That means no matter what you see on the charts or what you see on social media, you keep your trades within those defined boundaries. And if it means exiting early with a smaller profit or cutting seemingly promising trades because they reached your loss level, so be it. Now, one thing that's helped me formulate trading plans right from the get-go are the options Greeks. Greeks are the different metrics that measure the sensitivity of options premiums to various other factors. For example, let's look at delta. Delta measures how much an options premium will move relative to a $1 move in the underlying stock. But did you know it's also a shorthand indicator of the probability of the option expiring in the money? Theta, or time decay, shows you how much value the option loses with each passing day. Vega measures the sensitivity of your option to volatility. Then there's others like Rho and Gamma, though most traders stick to the first three. By the way, I made an entire video covering the Greeks right here, so check it out if you want to see the full deep dive. Either way, together, these metrics can help you identify potentially good trades, manage risks, and of course, set realistic expectations. Barchart gives us the Greeks in its option screener. Just go to your preferred strategy, click on the profit and loss chart right here, and then go to the Greeks tab. Then you can use Barchart's expected move tab to identify potential profit-taking and stop-loss price points. Aside from that, you can also look at volatility metrics before, during, and when you want to end your trade. The most common metric that's used by traders is implied volatility, or IV. IV is the measure of how much the market expects a stock or asset to move in the future. Think magnitude when you're thinking of IV. Then there's historical volatility, which measures how volatile the stock has been in the past. And then if you combine the two, you have IV rank, which measures the current IV's position compared to the past year, or more specifically, where it sits in the range. For example, if IV is high right now compared to the past, IV rank will also be high, meaning premiums will also be higher than usual. Then there's also IV percentile, which tells you how often IV has been lower than its current value over the past year. So how do you use IV rank and percentile in the context of a trade? Well, IV rank helps you identify extreme volatility conditions, while IV percentile tells you how frequently those conditions have occurred. Then there's also IV over HV, which is sometimes referred to as implied versus realized volatility. A value close to 1 suggests that the options market is pricing in future volatility roughly in line with recent historical or realized moves. And this could suggest a balanced environment where neither buyers or sellers have the stronger edge. High IV over HV ratios usually suggest options are overpriced and better suited for selling, while lower ratios mean cheaper premiums that are better for buying. All these metrics, combined with your own expertise and preferred trading styles, can help you identify the good trades, monitor them as they unfold, and if necessary, decide when to cut your losses or take your profits. Because at the end of the day, the best traders have the discipline to stick to the plan. Remember that in every trade or position that you take, there's someone else on the other side with a completely opposite thesis. So your edge will always come down to preparation, discipline, and mindset. You can't control the market, but you can control how you react to it. So practice and learn, use whatever tools, free courses, paper trading accounts, and whatever you have available to you. Then trade with a plan, manage your emotions, and let consistency, not luck, drive your results. And with enough practice, you'll be well on your way to earning money 90% of the time or more, not the other way around. Well, folks, that's it for me today in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And while you're there, if you found the video helpful, do like and subscribe because it'll help others find the video, it supports the channel, and you won't miss out on any of our future deep dives. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.